Since the beginning of time, humans have always debated what's best in life. Conan, what's best in life?
Conan, what is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of your women. That is good.
What the jeez? Conan, please, why do you always have to go there? You know what? That does sound pretty good. Hey guys, it's Daniel, licensed therapist. Today we have a clash of two very different views on what is best in relationships, marriage, family, and sexual morals. And this isn't just a clash of people, but a clash of ideologies. This is the red pill versus the conservative. And your guy here is going to be the judge of who wins. The gentleman representing the red pill is Justin Waller. If you don't know Justin, all you really need to know is he's Andrew Tate's best buddy. He's a multi-millionaire, and he's all about self-improvement, making money, lifting heavy weights, and getting girls, and just all around being a bad dude. The man is a beast. And in the other corner, we have Lila Rose. She's an ultra-conservative, pro-life advocate, and a beautiful traditional wife and mother. So needless to say, they have some pretty contrasting views, so let's look at what they have to say and see if any of it measures up to what we know about relationships, according to the psychological research. It's a battle between the beauty and the beast. Let's see who comes out on top.
See yourself getting married?
No, not on paper. No, absolutely not. I believe in love and marriage and in regards to taking care of a woman fully and your responsibilities as a father and a provider and protector. 100%. In fact, I think that's probably what's broken about the world. But in regards to letting the state get into all my businesses that took me over a decade to build, absolutely not. No.
Those are very
How do you think you're gonna get to the place of that marriage you want, with that family and that lifelong love that you just talked about?
I didn't say I didn't have family or children. I just said I was running
see.
your business.
Oh, I see. Okay. So
Do
you
you-
want to keep it private, is what you're saying?
That's
Yeah.
what I
I
said.
understand.
Do you?
Justin has
I
enemies.
might have multiple family.
Oh.
You never know. I might like family more than you. So much I have 5.
Do you think that's a good thing to have multiple families?
I think it's good if there's one dad and there's not a bunch of step parents involved and the dad can be the hero and those 5 families live a 10x better life than they would have otherwise. Yes, ma'am, I do.
So this starts off good for Justin, in my opinion. He seems to be pro-marriage and pro-family, but he's wary of the institution of marriage because it leaves him vulnerable financially, which I get. Someone of Justin's financial status should be thinking about these things, but things take a weird turn for me. Justin starts talking about him loving family so much he would have multiple families. Here's where he's losing me. One of the cornerstones of relationships is commitment. And how can you be fully committed to somebody if there's other people in the picture? You can't really be fully committed to someone while also in a relationship with another woman, let alone being in another family. So it makes sense as a hedonistic man to want to have many different women, but when it comes to what's best for a family, that's totally wrong. Let's see how Lila responds to this.
But you don't think that it will be ultimately an opportunity for jealousy or disharmony amongst
Women
two
are always going
different
to be
families?
jealous. What's changed
I'm not
about that?
jealous in
Women
my
have been jealous
marriage.
all the way through time. So
I'm not jealous in my marriage.
I don't care about your marriage. I'm talking about mine. What my life is going to be. So I don't answer to you. So that's my answer. I'm going to run my situation exactly how I want to. And generally, when I do that, that's when I have the most happiness, let's say, in my life. So that's all.
Justin's getting a little touchy here. You can tell he's starting to get irritated, which means this might be a sensitive subject for him. And Lila brings up a good point about jealousy. I'm not an expert on polygamy, but having multiple partners is definitely a setup for jealousy. And Justin responds by saying that women are always going to be jealous. You know, I think this is just a projection onto women based on his own experiences. And I don't know his experiences, but like I said, it does seem to be like some kinds of sensitive or sore spot for him. We can definitely have a great relationship where nobody is jealous because we have that commitment. And he finishes off by saying, this is what makes me happy. And again, I want to bring up the hedonistic nature of what he's talking about. And this isn't to put Justin down or anything, but we just do need to highlight this because raising a family and being in a marriage is incredibly sacrificing if you want to do it well. And it seems like he's not there. And in my estimation, it's going to bring him a lot of headache in the future. But let's keep going.
And you would want that for your daughters?
Yeah. Yeah, I live my life unapologetically on my terms. So if my daughters that are overly spoiled and educated in every way and have friends all over the world and world traveled in the best schools in the world, if they have a problem with me at the end of the day, then they can kick rocks too. I'm not going to simp for my daughters. I'll love them fully. But if they grow up and turn into a person that doesn't want to get in line with me, or look, here's my goal as a parent: teach my children how the world works, give them the skills so they can live on their own terms, and give them choice. If they choose not to make me part of their life after I've given them those things, I've still succeeded as a father.
Okay, now it's really starting to not make sense for me. The words, "I'm not going to simp for my daughter," is really strange for me. He talks about his duties as a parent as if it's some kind of job and it's not a connection and a relationship with the really important person. It seems like he's saying it's not going to bother him if his daughter disapproves of him. And it sounds like he's also saying that if his daughter disapproves and wants nothing to do with him, that he's fine with it. I don't know if this guy has a daughter or a child, but I can't really see that practically playing out. Granted, different people do different things and want different things, and maybe this is what he wants, and this is the way that he wants to live. But I've seen this principle backfire so many times. I've seen people hold on to their principles at the expense of a relationship with their children, and more often than not, there comes a day where they regret it and all they want is a relationship with their child. So I'm not sure if Justin is saying this stuff just because he's irritated, but when it comes to relationships and family, I'm really not agreeing with Justin is saying here.
But I guess I'm asking if you're comfortable answering, obviously. But are you wanting to be a role model for your kids? Is that part of
1,000%. A father should show up in every way for his children. I think I'll be better than most fathers, regardless of how many children I have. I might have 100.
But you think part of being a role model, it's okay for your kids not to know even your relationship status with their own mom?
They will know the relationship status with me and their mother.
But you have other relationships with other women too.
What does that have to do with anything?
But I'm just wondering if you think
I haven't even said that. I'm just saying, like, if I want to, I will.
But you don't think that's a problem for your daughter to know that about their dad? That he has multiple mistresses?
That's up to my daughter, man. You know.
But do you want your daughter to have a guy like that long term?
If he takes care of her in every way and she has a much better life because of it, yeah. I'm cool with that.
One thing Lila is doing really well is simply asking questions. She's not attacking Justin. She's not getting emotional. She's simply investigating his views. And I feel like by doing that, she's giving him the rope to hang himself. Because what Justin is saying is that he thinks it would be great if his daughter was one of many wives for one man. How can you possibly be committed to someone if you have a bunch of wives? Another core tenet of relationships is trust. It looks like Lila trusts her husband, but how can you trust someone if there's a bunch of other partners involved? How can you be invested in somebody if your attention, your heart, your finances, and your time are divided between a bunch of different people? I think for Justin, it sounds nice on paper, but practically this won't really work. You're not going to have a strong family unit if you have a bunch of wives and a bunch of kids. I don't think Justin really has fleshed this out. I think it just sounds like it's a good idea, but it can't possibly end well. Right now, it looks like Justin is starting to lose this engagement, but let's see what happens next.
Wait, do you want to have 100 kids? Is that like low key?
I'm gonna have a bunch of kids. Yeah, I believe in having kids, man. So there's too many dumbass people having kids. Might as well have a smart person have some.
Dude, is Justin low key about to repopulate the world?
Kids are awesome.
Is Justin
Single-handedly
single-handedly reverse the declining birth rates?
They got all these single women out here talking shit about shit, man. Well, cool. I'll have babies with you. What's up? Now, part of it is being a smart ass right now, right? To be honest, but look, if a guy decides to have a bunch of children, I mean, you see it happen all the time. Guy gets married, he's a shitty father, shitty husband, ends up getting a divorce, and then goes has babies with the next chick, doing the same thing I'm doing, except I'm not a lying coward about it.
All right, Justin comes back strong, admits that he was just being a smartass, which I really do appreciate, and he looks a lot more centered and calm now. So good for him, and you know what? What he's saying is right. There are a bunch of people out there that are having babies that probably shouldn't be having babies, and they move on and have more babies. And what he's proposing that he does appear better, but it is far from ideal. The part of a therapist is to process the pros and cons and really think through decisions so that our clients can make the best decisions possible. If he really thought it through and this is what he wants, then I can't really tell him no.
I hear you.
So,
I see that. I see
is
that.
what it is.
But I think the big question is, I mean, it seems like you're really focused on self-improvement, which is awesome. And so I guess my question would be, is it ideal? Like, what are we striving towards individually, right? And what do we think is best for society? And I think kids want to know their parents love each other and are committed till death do they part to each other.
Yep, didn't say any of that wasn't true.
But
You're the one saying that's not true.
Okay, but do you think it would be a little bit confusing for one of your kids if they found out, let's say theoretically?
No, because if they trust me enough to come to me, I'll just tell them the truth. What are we talking about? I'm not hiding from anything. I just told you.
I understand that.
It seems like you're challenging it because you have a problem with it. I simply don't care.
So your kids, you're saying you don't care if they find out you have multiple mistresses?
If I had
separate from their
multiple
own
women
mother.
and then my kids came to me, then I would just talk to them like an adult. If they're adult enough to ask, I'm
What if they're
adult enough
6
to
years
tell
old,
them.
though?
Well, whatever they ask, I'm there for.
Okay, Justin is getting really defensive again. And I'm going to have to give him the benefit of the doubt here and say he's just getting emotional and getting into an emotional entanglement with Lila. And it's not necessarily a logical discussion at this point, because he's talking about having no reservations about telling a 6-year-old kid about his relationship status and having a mistress. And I think we can all agree that this is wrong and just really, really weird. And I do feel like this isn't really what Justin believes. He's a little all over the place with what he's saying. And to me, this is representative of him saying things that he doesn't necessarily mean, because he's just in an emotional entanglement. But right now, my guy Justin is a little incoherent. I can't nail down exactly what he thinks or believes. So let's see if it gets any more clearer.
You know, that's it. Find somebody else. I don't feel bad. I'm going to live in truth. Here's the difference between me and most men. Most men are doing this shit behind people's back, right? Like a fucking coward. And they're not even giving the family the life that they deserve. So if I choose to do that in the future, which I have not said I'm going to do, then so be it. But if I don't, I don't.
I hear you. I guess that you're saying you don't want to share your relationship status, but then you just said people are hiding it and being a coward. So I guess I
think there's a difference between not wanting to share one's relationship status publicly on a platform like this versus
when I have a big
family.
internet following and like offices that you can Google and all kinds of things like that. I don't want that smoke for people in my life.
So this makes a lot more sense to me. Justin is intentionally being cryptic because he's trying to protect his relationship status and perhaps the actual people in his life. He has a huge social media following and he wants to keep his personal life personal. I have no problem with that. I get it. But what Justin cryptically hinted at was a life of multiple partners, multiple children, not really being tied down to one particular family, whereas Lila was advocating for one man, one woman, and one family. So this goes back to the original premise. What is best in life? And I think the clear winner here is Lila. The traditional family is what's best from what we know. If we have two committed parents in a household that are committed to each other and have a good relationship, then we know that they're going to be successful. And we know a good relationship looks like two people who are committed to each other and who trust each other. And if we have other people in the mix, those two things will be compromised: the commitment and the trust. But hey, I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. I'm only here to tell you what the research says, and you can make your own decision. If you want to go on a lifelong sexual bender, no judgment here. But if you want to ultimately have a good marriage and a good family, you know what to do. Thanks for watching, you amazing person. If there's anything you want me to react to, leave it in the comments down there. I'll see you next time.